Hello,
The
Drama
raid.
Alert Nation. I'm your host, Kingdom Soldier, and let's get right to the recap. Welcome to the STiKS Live Day 2 recap, guys. Goalie's mad at me because I turned on my webcam, and then I turned it off because I didn't want him to be mad at me. But Goalie, if you can hear me and I can turn it on, let me know and I'll turn it on. If okay, turn it on now. Turn it on now. You want me to turn it on now? Okay, it's on.
Yeah.
Um, So I'm looking at your guys' questions from Twitter right now, so I'm kind of multitasking, but I'm gonna let Fox and Landon introduce yourselves real quick. You guys can say your affiliations, channels, Twitters, whatever you want, and then answer the question. If you could change one outcome from today's matches, what would you change? And I'm gonna start with Landon Calrissian. You can go first.
All right, guys. What is up? My name is Lando Calrissian, aka MLG Roster Mania. How are you guys doing tonight? My affiliation is the community. I actually run a Twitter called MLG Roster Mania where I do update on Roster Mania news, which I'm assuming there'll be a lot of things coming up in the near future. Regardless of that, I do make YouTube videos and I also do stream youtube.com/airflying2kapps. It's really long. I'm gonna get that figured out. Anyway, if I could change one outcome from tonight, I'm not gonna. I would say, does it have to be a game or could it be just a situation? Like,
That's fine. I don't care.
I'm gonna say I wish they would have done the pools or the groups, how they played like today differently. I would have done A plays H, B plays whatever, like whichever groups came out. I would have switched that. IMO. So yeah.
Okay. Fox.
Hi everybody, I'm Fox. I'm a live streamer. My Twitter is actually on screen right now at RondezFox. I stream on MLG TV. I'm also a caster. I've been at Call of Duty North American Regionals this year, and you'll see me at a couple of other things this year that I'm probably not allowed to talk about yet. But that's just between you and the other 99 people watching the stream right now. But um, if I could change one thing about if I could change one thing about today's events, and not really something about today, but it did involve today, was FaZe Black got beat by Orbit, and I think that's due to a part of Sensor not being able to play with his team. And I would have liked to see FaZe
Oh.
Black place higher than 13th to 18th. I would or 13th, 16th, so I can't read numbers. I wish that Sensor didn't make that dumb decision to do whatever he did with Justice and get himself banned, because I would have liked to see them perform a lot better. They're a squad of really hardworking guys. Censor and Apathy going hard on YouTube, and Proofy is just a veteran of the scene. I would have liked to see them do a lot better.
Yeah. All right. My name is Kingdom Soldier, and I do some stuff on YouTube. I do some stuff on Twitch every once in a while, and I got this new shirt that my wife bought me. I kind of like it. It's pretty cool. It's actually brand new. Like, this is the first time I've ever worn it, so I'm giving you guys the gift of seeing it first. Um, you can use my code Kingdom for 10% off your G Fuel. Use code STiKS for 5% off your Scuff gaming products. I would change the outcome of the Denial versus Optic match. I would have Optic win that match because I think now this isn't anything against Optic, but I honestly think that if Denial lost that match, they would still be alive in the tournament. I think they would have beat FaZe Red, and they would be in the final four right now. I just think Optic had it's a hard day. Like, and once they lost that first match, you know, I could hear Nade after they lost the S&D saying, "Oh, they've been practicing nade spots and all this kind of stuff," and they were already down at that point. Like, when you go down 2-0 and you're the best team in the game, like, that hit them hard, and I don't think they ever really recovered from that match. I think the 2-3-0s or 3-1s, whatever they had in the losers bracket, I think those were two much easier teams, and once they ran up against FaZe Red, they kind of were still deflated from Denial, and it impacted the way they played. For the sake of competitive Call of Duty and what we all wanted to see, I think it would have been nice to see the grand finals tomorrow and not this morning. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion. So what I want to do, what I want to start with is basically like what were you guys, some of your guys' favorite matches and moments from today? I don't think we necessarily need to recap for those that, that don't know what's going on. You should visit cod.esportspedia.com where you could find the full bracket. But I want to kind of ask you guys, Landon and Fox, and I'll start with Fox for this one. But what were some of your favorite moments of the day and your favorite matches that you got to watch?
I personally enjoyed seeing Solar S&D with Optic and Denial. I was very surprised that that Denial was able to beat Optic so easily on what's been their best map all throughout season one. I was clearly Denial did their homework, and eventually, if a team wins a map that many times in a row, someone's got to catch on eventually what they're doing. At the same time, we did see Optic switch up their strategy a little bit. I know people were getting on Nade about running the HPR, but that was my favorite map, just because I liked seeing Denial get so hyped and beating the best team in the game right now on one of their best map and game modes.
Okay. Landon?
I'm gonna speak kind of like not certain. Like I would probably say like certain teams that I really enjoyed watching. I really enjoyed a lot of Optics games. I really enjoyed a lot of Denial series. Denial play like TKAR had some really good games. I really enjoyed, like I said, Optics. Short run, but their run through the losers bracket. I think we could all kind of agree about that. But I really did enjoy watching Mind Freak. Mind Freak has really surprised me this tournament. They've done a lot better than I thought they would. I thought they would come out dominant, but I didn't think that they would do as well as they did. I think they're playing for like fifth or sixth right now. Is that correct? Fifth slash
Yeah.
sixth right now. Okay, but I was really surprised with them. I've really enjoyed a lot of the games that they've played today. Along with that, I've really enjoyed a lot of the losers bracket games. Just speaking off of a couple like TK versus Orbit, that was an insane comeback that TK had against them, and a lot of the FaZe versus Optic gaming match was probably the most hyped game of the entire day. Well, it didn't really go in a lot of people's favors. That was probably my favorite match. I really enjoy the hype before games, whether you really didn't like the outcome or not. I always enjoy like the hype that goes into games. So probably that.
The hype before the games?
Yeah, like the excitement.
Yeah. So I guess if for me it would almost be a string of events. It was like some of the opening matches we had in this event were ridiculous. Like AR beating Owen at the same time as Denial
Yeah.
beating OG. Like, I mean, this day, and then SB beating FaZe Black. Like all of those three matches that all basically happened at the same time. I think the FaZe SB was a little bit earlier, but it was
Yeah,
like
that
a
was
chain of events that as they happened back to back to back, you were like, what? It was like sad tweet after sad tweet after sad tweet.
Right,
And I
it
got
was
to
so
the
depressing.
that's when I got to the point where I'm like, oh, FaZe Black is out of the tournament. Oh, Envy is out of the tournament. Oh, SB is out of the tournament. Oh, ON is out of the tournament. I mean, it was like it was sad. Like it was honestly because around the time OG was getting beat, I think was when the Owen and Envy match was about to start. And everybody's like, oh, this is gonna be the hypest match, and oh my gosh, it's gonna be crazy. And of course it went to map five. Every map five that we had this weekend, in my opinion, was great. Like I think so far from what I've seen, all of the map fives were even TK Orbit. Like that was a great match to watch. There was a chance that Orbit was going to take that. And so I think for me, favorite matches. I mean, I can't not say the OG Denial match, even though it ended like it was like we were robbed of seeing a full series between OG and Denial. Like I wanted to see a full series. I didn't want to
We
just
were
see
robbed.
a 3-1, and there's nothing worse in our scene than seeing a depressed Optic Gaming. Like, in my opinion, it's one of those things that it just hurts me, like when I see a depressed Optic Gaming. So it looks like right now, I mean, and to speak of good things happening, it's like, well, for some people this isn't a good thing, but like right now, FaZe Red has won, I believe, 11 maps in a row. Like they've gone 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, and now they're about to 3-0 Prophecy. And so they're on a run. If this event ended today, you might see FaZe Red Denial, and FaZe Red might take them to the second best of fives, as we've seen them
Yeah.
do in this game already to another team. So I think that team is just turned up, and hearing Parasite's talks and everything. I mean, there was a lot of craziness today. So I know one of the surprises that, of course, was, obvious to all of us. But what were some of the, I'll say first thing, what were some of the good surprises that came out of today? Like, what were some teams that surprised you guys that weren't necessarily like Optic losing? But what were some good surprises that you thought were good for the community and good for the scene? I'll start with Fox.
How about the fact that Prof has made it this far? Like they're a great team, but just seeing their performances has been crazy. They just 3-0'd Mind Freaks, which was cool to watch, and it seemed like when they were losing that first day, like just hearing that chat, just awful comms. Like they just didn't seem like they wanted to be there. I know Burns hasn't even been playing that much. He's been playing a ton of League of Legends since and for the past month. So that's just weird to me that they've made it this far. Or not Burns. I'm sorry, I meant Moch.
Yeah.
But that's pretty nuts.
No, I agree. It's going to be awkward in the Optic house. I mean, I'm just saying, like, this dude's coming home with way more money than all of
Outplays
his
Optic.
all of
What?
his housemates. Like, he outpaced placed the team that dropped him, Optic Gaming, and the other team that dropped him, Optic Nation. I mean, it's gonna be a
Win-win
little awkward.
situation.
And I saw, Hex talking about he's taking Optic. He wants to take Optic to Vegas. It's like they're gonna be like, nah, Money B, you can't go, bro. Go home to Chicago and sit in the house by yourself with some Red Bull. We'll see you when we've calmed down a little bit from what just happened. What
Right,
about
dude,
you,
that's
Landon?
bad feeling.
What were some good
Um,
surprises?
for me, I'm really happy about Prof. I really like Imbo's. Imbo's my favorite player. So I'm
Mhm.
really happy about them. I'm also really, really happy about how TR is doing. I think it's great for them. They're a really, really good team. I think this is like the perfect way to get their name out there. They're like they barely missed season 2 against ON. It was such a close game, and the fact that they're going to place top 3 and they're not at champs and they're not in season 2 shows how insane they really are. I'm really happy about them. I really, really want this TR team to go far. I'm really, really excited to see how they do. And also AR, I really like AR a lot. I was really surprised on how well they did today. I think they ended up losing to FaZe Red 3-0, but still
Yeah.
another run that FaZe had to take down. But regardless, definitely TR to me was my absolute favorite thing to see. And from overseas, I guess it would be Mind Freak. Mind Freak definitely surprised everyone, which I thought was really good for the community. So
Yeah, I think I agree with AR. Like, I was really happy for Burns. Like, seeing them I mean, I didn't want Optic Nation to go out of this tournament so early. I mean, that was really sad. Um, and I know we're gonna end up talking about roster changes because 97% of the questions I'm getting on Twitter are about roster changes.
yeah,
And that team will probably be mentioned. But um, I, I think I'm really happy for AR. Like when they beat ON, I was like, wow. Then they beat Aware, and so they took themselves to a good spot in the tournament. I think Mind Freak as well. They made a little bit of a name for themselves. Orbit actually surprised some people. Like I think they went because they took out who did they take out? FaZe Black. I think that was a surprise. Like I actually kind of gave FaZe Black the victory, and people were saying, "Don't underestimate them. Don't underestimate them."
Yeah.
Um, and then they took TK to last map. I think it was Drift, Search and Destroy, and so I was kind of shocked. That was a good surprise in my opinion. I was actually, I guess the last thing I'll say is was a good surprise was Denial's Search and Destroy game. Like, um, when they played Optic, I almost knew they were going to win when I saw the second map. Like the way that they were out strategizing a
Easily.
team
Yep.
that is known for slaying. And if you really think about it, what Denial did is they kept themselves out of harm's way. Like old Woody's gamer tag for some people that might have watched him back in the day. They controlled the engagement. Like Denial chose when you were going to fight them. They weren't like we're going to go up against the best slayers in the game and try to beat them. They even though Denial can slay, like there was some games where Clayster and Attach were going off. They were definite duos, but they they would rotate to the A bomb all together on Solar, and then when Optic would start to go over there, they would all at the same time simultaneously rotate. They weren't trying to get 1v1s. They weren't jumping out there. And that's one thing that I've seen Optic Nation do. I've seen Optic Gaming do it. And normally it works for Optic Gaming because Formal gets a two-piece, or Scumpy gets a two-piece, or Crim gets a ridiculous snipe, or Formal does, or Nade Shot does a flank. But Denial controlled that entire search and destroy game. It
Yeah,
was
and
obvious. Go ahead.
what I also noticed about OG is they were first off, I gotta give props to Attach. There was a really solid flank that he had when he went all the way through panels
Yes.
and shot Nade in the back who had the HBR pipes. That was a great play by him. I really liked that play. But what I noticed about OG was that they were not using their normal strategies in that series or in that map for Solar S&D. Nade wasn't using his Amelie overkill class with the sub, and he wasn't sitting around Van. Crimsix on defense wasn't up in the balcony with his sniper rifle like he usually. He's in there every now and then, but not usually. Scump on defense was never playing inside of Orange at B bomb site. That's what he usually does. Is he sits around Orange with a sub, or he sits around Cat. They weren't doing that as often this time, and I don't
Yeah.
know why they switched up what's been working for them. Where the only players that took them to round 11 were TK, but now they got smacked by Denial on one of their best maps.
Do you think, Ron, like, because you probably play more competitive than me and Landon, do you think that they just, do you think the Optic LAN actually changed their game in a negative way? Like, if you see the results of everybody who was there, they didn't place where we thought they would place, and it looked like they were doing well. But do you also, or do you think it was just Denial threw them off their game because their strategies were that good to where Optic didn't know how to respond, so they did stuff that they wouldn't normally do. They actually did Denial force them to play different.
I think that is definitely the case. I think Denial understands that Optic's probably their biggest competition, and that's probably who they did their homework the most on was Optic, especially on that map. They know how Optic is going to play that. I'm sure they sat and watched all their round 11s against TK. Those were all recorded,
Yeah,
so
that's
they
true.
got their strats down, and that's probably why we didn't see a lot of what Optic did in their usual comfort zone, and we saw Denial come out on top. They had some great flanks. They executed their plays the way they wanted them to, and it worked. And then we saw that Nade wasn't performing his best in that S&D either, and that kind of helped them even more. But that's
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't think the land hurt them. I don't think them scrimming ON hurt them, especially because ON's a great S&D team. I don't think
Hmm.
that's what specifically hurt them. I think that they didn't want to play the way they usually do. OG didn't, and Denial
Hmm.
also just knows the way they play. So
Do
it
you think
didn't.
they kind of beat themselves in a way? Do you think by
I
changing
think
their
so.
strategies they beat themselves?
I think so.
That's
And
what
then
I
they were
thought.
you could just tell they were just so down on themselves, they were definitely down on themselves.
Well, here's the thing though. Even when, what was it? Who were they playing? Was it Denial when they scump dropped who was it? Or was it Phase when they played Phase Red? Who did they play? Scump dropped 41 kills and they still lost. I don't remember who they played. I think it was Phase
I
Red, but
don't I
yeah,
I
and the
think it
fact of the
was
matter
bad.
is that they weren't always doing bad. I mean, Formal had more bad games than he usually does, like where he
yeah.
was bottom of the leaderboard, like as far as points goes, because Nade was capping. But I was kind of shocked at that. But there was games where Crim and Scump were still doing good, but Denial just turned it up. They came out and they played at a level that we know they're capable of, but we just didn't think anybody could play their game against Optic. And I think they may have beat themselves, but I don't think we can take any credit away from a great team in Denial Esports. I think they just played extremely well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So let's move on. So give me your day two. So this whole day, give me your MVP for day two, and I'll start with Landon.
Two players to me that really stood out was definitely, especially in the first game, the SB played, and whenever they played against Optic, was definitely John. I know today's John's birthday, so shout out to John, but he constantly played super
Happy
well. Like there was a lot of games. I think he dropped like a 40 bomb versus
He did.
OG. Had a really really solid day. I know they ended up losing, but regardless, I think
Yeah.
John played very well. And to me, Attach played solid. He played really good yesterday, but today
Hmm.
it just showed how good Attach really is. He definitely turned it up against Optic throughout the whole day. He's been playing very, very well. I haven't
Yeah.
even seen him go negative, like maybe in the S&D a couple times, but he's just
Hmm.
been very, very consistent. For
Yeah,
me.
he's
So
been great.
that's for me the two players that really, really showed up today were those two.
Ron?
I mean, I want to say attach immediately. Played great. You know, he's the star of the show today for sure. When he was playing, everyone recognized attach. I think it was definitely something in that chapstick he was putting on every round and every halftime. His attach was playing phenomenally. Got to give him props for that. He showed off for denial today. But as a runner up, I want to say someone from the TR squad. TR is. I've been hyping those since regional. Since the first time I saw them play regional, I was like, this is a fantastic team. They're doing
Yeah.
so much right, and one of the star players, Nagafin, I think, is and
Mm.
Vicento. Vicento is an amazing S&D player, and he's been known for his S&D for a while now. I think that I would want to give, if not attach, even though I'm pretty sure my answer would be attach, um, would have to be either Nagafin or Vicento of TR. I just love seeing them play. They're fantastic players, and they've got a great squad and a good thing going for them. I'm excited to see them against Denial.
I'm gonna have to say a player from TR as well, but I'm gonna say Aqua. I didn't get to watch very many of TR's matches, but when I did, he was going off, especially in the match versus FaZe Red.
Yeah.
Um, and in the match versus I think they played Prof after that, and I was getting a lot of people were tweeting at me. They were saying they were amazed, like, who is this dude Aqua? And that's what is great about this team Revenge is that they made a name for themselves and nobody knew who they were, and that's they took advantage of an opportunity. They beat FaZe Red, they beat Prof, teams that have been doing really good in this tournament, obviously because they're still in it, and so is Revenge, and so I think they did extremely well. I think Revenge is gonna, give Denial a run for their money. We'll talk about predictions in a moment, but I would have to say, and then my other one, I'm gonna have to go with Clay for leadership. I think
Oh
just
yeah.
hearing his interview when he said he told Attach, "You're our Scumpy. Like
Yeah.
you have the ability to go off, to take over, and to do what you want on the map, and you just need to do it. Like just do it. Just go out there
Yeah.
and be a roaming sub and kill everything you see."
You know, it's
Um,
funny. It's funny you
yeah,
say
go ahead.
that. I was actually speaking to Rambo at North American Regionals. We were talking about some of the players, and he was. It's really cool to talk to Rambo about strategy. By the way, such an awesome dude to conversate with. But
Yeah,
converse with. He was talking about Scumpy. He was like, even when used to run eights with Scumpy, like I gotta say, Scumpy is probably the easiest person to play a game with. Like you just tell him to go out there and kill stuff. He doesn't need to touch the objective, and that's it. Like hearing that come from Rambo was just so funny. It was like he's the easiest person to play with.
yeah. I mean, and he did. I think Attach did well, but a lot of that has to be owed to the leadership of Clayster. And a player like Clayster is the clear leader of that squad. He
Yeah.
is, in my opinion, um, he's the best player on that squad because of his versatility, I'll say, and his ability to motivate and inspire others. And so I think individual talent at this point in our game has to be weighed by your ability to inspire your peers and those around you to do well. And Clayster does that. Like he doesn't even have to just stand and scream anymore, but the way this team is clicking is it's evident that they're great, and that Clayster's a great player. So I would give the MVP to him. Is there a tentative schedule, or are you guys just talking off the cuff? Tentative schedule about what? What's he talking about? There is. Oh, okay. We'll pull up a tentative schedule for tomorrow in a moment. Tentative schedule for our show right now? Yes, there is. All right. So, yeah, tomorrow's going to be winners
Yeah.
bracket finals first, because then the loser will drop to the losers finals. Then they'll play that, and then the grand final. Only going to be three matches. It looks like the matches must be over because people are slowly and surely starting to come in here.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go to questions from Twitter, and when we do that, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and do that. But I do want to ask you guys, and I'm going to do it early in the stream, for predictions for tomorrow's matches. So, did we get the? Is it? I'm trying to see. Yes, FaZe Red took out Prophecy, so I think Prophecy gets fourth in this event.
Yeah.
Okay, so Prophecy got fourth. Great job, Money B, Ricky, Classic. I mean, just that team, they did great. Money B,
Yeah.
there is no one better at playing with a team that you
Yeah.
just put together than Imbos. No, I mean, and I think he said when he was on when I interviewed him for the 1v1, he said part of the reason is because he he gets to do what he wants, I guess, because when you haven't been playing together really long, there's no solid roles. It's like just win. And so
Yeah.
Imbo's kind of gets to do what he wants, and he ends up on these teams where he's one of the best players as well. And I think that was the problem with Optic Nation is that Imbo's wasn't the best player. He was probably actually the worst player in terms of skill
A
on
lot of
that
people
team.
said that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he couldn't find his role as a result because they wanted him to just play the objective, and that's not Imbo's role. Like he actually is good enough to be a roaming slayer. He's good enough to hold down hard points. He's a better player than just be a nade shot. And that's not his thing. He doesn't want to be a nade shot, and so I, you know, I'm happy for that team. However, that means that FaZe Red is in the losers bracket finals tomorrow, and they're going to play against the loser of Denial versus TR. So give me your who's going to win the match, Denial and Revenge, and then who's going to win between FaZe Red and that whoever you say is going to lose, and then give me a grand final prediction. And I'll
Okay.
start
So.
with. I guess I'll start with Fox.
I apologize. I didn't realize you were gonna pick someone this time. I'm sorry about that.
Go ahead.
But
You're good.
Denial versus TR. Watching Denial play Hardpoint, they were playing against AR earlier, and I wish we got a chance to see TR versus or Team Revenge versus AR today. That would have been nice, but we didn't. But anyways, watching Denial play against AR on Hardpoint, AR was beating them on the rotation on every single Hardpoint. There was one single hill that Denial beat them in. It was the second time that they went to the STiKS hardpoint on Biolab. So, and I think that TR is a very, very good hardpoint team, especially if they get on solo. I think TR is going to shine. Even though Clay, a fantastic AR for Denial, I see Team Revenge winning it out, and we've seen how good Nagafan is with the MLE. We've seen how good Aqua is with his subs, pushing straight into the hills. I see TR taking a hard point away from Denial. I think it would be close. But I think Team Revenge would win that. And then S&D, I see Team Revenge being the better S&D team. I mean, they've taken ON to round 11 online before, and we've seen them be just a powerhouse on S&D on LAN on several occasions. So I see the first two maps going to TR almost without a doubt. I don't know how I feel about the rest of the series, though. I don't know if I really would see TR take the whole series, but I think those first two maps are in their favor. I got to pick one.
Yep.
All right.
Pick a winner.
This is killing me. I'm gonna say TR.
Okay, so then who's gonna win between Denial and FaZe Red for losers finals?
You mean between TR and FaZe Red?
No, you said TR was gonna win.
Oh, for losers finals. Sorry,
yeah.
Between Denial and FaZe Red, I'm gonna go with Denial for that one.
That would be an epic match, by the way.
Yes, it would be.
Denial versus FaZe Red. I hope they
Clay and Aches. I just want to see Clay and Aches against each other.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
There's only a wall in between them.
Do you think it? So the way you said it, do you think Revenge is going to win this whole thing then, or do you think Denial is going to do the unthinkable and win 2 best of 5?
I don't see Revenge beating. Yeah, I don't see Revenge making it all the way through. But I see them beating Denial, or at least beating Denial in the first 2 maps.
And then you think, okay, so I see what you're saying. So you think Denial ends up winning?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Landon.
In the first game, Denial versus TR, Ron really just laid it out, basically. Gave play-by-play. I'm not really going to do that because I'm not, as good at that. But just looking at it, I think, honestly, Denial's really going to have a huge, I would say, momentum boost from today. I think they've played really, really well. I hate to say it, I really, really like TR. I think that they've played so incredibly well, and I'm really, really happy for them. I think Denial will take this game. I think it's going to be really close. I think it'll be a 3-1. I think that Denial will be able to close it out and maybe like CTF and whatnot. I don't know why. I just feel like Clayster, man. Clayster is absolutely the factor, and when Clay realizes that he's only 2 games away from that million, or that technically $400,000, I think he's going to lead his team into beating TR. So I think it'll be Denial in the grand final. TR versus FaZe Red, at least in my opinion. I think that's what it'll be. I think TR will be a little bit down after that match. I think they'll be kind of lost. They're not used to losing. Obviously, they're in the winners bracket finals, and or they were. I think that FaZe Red will take that game. I think FaZe Red is completely just rolling right now. I hate to say it. I think it'll be a 3-0, to be honest. I think that FaZe Red's looking incredibly strong, and I think we'll see FaZe Red versus Denial in the grand final. Oh man, that's going to be a game. I'm just trying to think here.
2 best of 5s if you give it
Yeah,
to
for
FaZe Red.
FaZe Red. I think I'm going to see Denial take it. I really do.
Okay.
I'm going to say Denial.
All right. So tomorrow morning, we have 2 teams that have deserved to be the top 2 teams. If you told me that this was the grand final, I'd be fine with that. Like, the teams that Revenge has had to beat to get to where they are and not lose, they've had to 3-0 FaZe Red. They had to 3-1 Prophecy. And who did they play in the first round? Revenge played Mind Freak. And so they've had to do a lot in order to get there. Denial as well. They had to play the best team in the game and beat them 3-1. They had to beat TK 3-0. And then they had to beat AR 3-1. So Denial and Revenge have walked a long road. Now, FaZe as well has walked a ridiculous losers bracket. I mean, this is in true STiKS fashion. And they dropped in the losers bracket, they didn't lose a single map in the losers bracket.
Yeah,
they won 3, 6, 9, 12 maps in a row. And so FaZe, as far as riding a wave of we can beat anybody, is going to be pretty unstoppable. I'm going to say that Denial is going to beat TR, and then I'm going to say that FaZe is going to beat TR as well. Sorry, Pittsburgh, if you happen to be in the stream. I just think that Denial, I think Clayster, it's not even about the money. I think it's about the fact of holding that trophy up in front of Crim, in front of STiKS, in front of TP, in front of the Optic organization. I think that Clay has, and I asked this before this event ever started. I said, is there anybody who has more reason to try to win this event than Clayster? Like, he's been dropped from the largest organizations that we have. You know, he's been on almost all the teams. He's been on TK, he's been on Envy, he's been on Optic. And I think the only organization he hasn't played for is FaZe. But he's played with STiKS. And I think that he has, and he's played with Parasite way back in the day. And so I think that he has something that he wants to prove. I think the check is a bonus for Clayster. Hoisting that trophy and putting that ring up is going to mean so much to that dude. And I think he'll beat TR. FaZe Red, oh gosh. STiKS is STiKS. And what's his name? What's homie's name? Parasite said it today in his interview after their match. He said, we just realized after losing that we just wanted to play like somebody just told Hitch to shave his head.
That's what I just saw in the chat. I was trying so hard not to laugh.
That's goalie.
I was trying not to laugh. I was like, all right, I'm at least going to type.
About that. All right. Anyway, so Parasite said that they just decided they were going to play like Optic. And they were going to kill everything, and the objective would present itself. And that's how they've been playing, and they haven't dropped a map since they've been doing it. Because for them, getting 3-0'd by Revenge, they want revenge. And so I think they're going to get it tomorrow. No pun intended. I think they're going to get it tomorrow. I think they're going to beat Revenge. And I think that they're going to take Denial to the second best of 5, and then they're going to lose 3-1 in the second best of 5. And Clayster is going, and the rest of his team, Denial, the organization, is going to win COD champs. That's my opinion. All right.
Oh man.
Oh, that was. What'd you say?
I'm sorry. I can't even think about how crazy that game's gonna be if it's Denial versus FaZe Red.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Exciting,
Utterly. Sure. And let me say this. We're not even gonna get to this question from Twitter, so I'm just gonna answer it. Somebody asked, "Do you think if STiKS wins another championship, he will be declared as one of the best players?" You can't argue with championships. Like, this dude will have 20, and he'll have 2 COD champs back to back, and he'll have proven that I can go from being with all of the best players in the game, who still are the best players in the game, obviously. They just have to figure their teams out. But Crim is still one of the best players in the game. TP is still one of the best players in the game. Karma is still one of the best players in the game. And Clayster, obviously, because of this event. I mean, technically, complexity still wins. unless Revenge wins this event, that complexity squad, those five, if you count the dropping of Clayster and picking up of Karma, like those five players are still on the best teams, and they're still some of the best players in the game. I think for STiKS to prove, he won the first event, and then now to win champs, regardless of the bad finishes he's had since he won the first event, it would be huge, and he'd have to be declared the best player. We just don't want to call him that. Like, he's a villain. Nobody wants to call him the best player. Everybody just
no
wants
one wants to give him the satisfaction.
No,
that's just
not
what he
at all.
wants.
Yeah, he tweeted today. He said, "I don't even need to tweet anything, but I told you, GG's OG." It's like,
So STiKS.
gosh, you're so right, but it sucks.
That's so STiKS.
Oh man. All right, so goalie, if you're ready, I won't take a commercial so that I can at least, because I only have like 12 minutes. What'd you say? We can go straight to it. Okay, I'm just going to go straight from the ones that I sent to you, DM, and I'll just go in order. So I'll start with the one that's on TweetDeck. It's at the bottom. It's from Swiffer. Okay. So the first question it comes from @Swiffer, and he says, how come OG got the first overall seed but still faced denial in round 1? Shouldn't they have played Pool H instead of Pool B? Does either of you want to take up this question? I know that it's been very well debated in the community and on Twitter, but does anybody want to take up this question? Because I'll handle it if you don't want to.
Go for it.
You said you're good, Fox? Landon?
Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, just go for it. Yeah, take your stab at it. Just take your stab at it.
I'm just tired of hearing about it. Honestly,
you guys don't want to. Here's the thing. I'm not even going to answer the question. I'm just going to say, winners win. And it's hard for me to say that because I know that, me, like everybody else watching this, I really wanted Optic. Not just, it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm a fan of Optic and I want them to win. I'm just saying, for the game, I really wanted the best team in the game to be there at the end. But winners win. And so you can't complain that they had to play denial first. Yeah. Every team. These are the best teams in the world.
They basically just played them out of order.
What'd you say?
I was saying they basically just played them out of order because if you're gonna get to that point, you're gonna have to get through these teams. So it's
gonna happen at some point,
Yeah.
Exactly.
While I understand, you could say it's unfair. Like
how's it unfair?
They played them off the bat. Well, what I mean is I could think of someone's idea of they played down the first round, and then arguably the best team. The two best teams, one of them is going to be in the losers bracket. I can agree with that in a way, but like I said, you're going to have to face them eventually. Might as well get them off the bat. You know what I mean? But still, I can definitely see how people would look at that. But you got to, it's just it kind of goes back and forth. But regardless, you're going to have to play them anyway. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's my thing. Optic is the best team in the game. Like, even if they lost to Denial, they faced Below Zero, they faced SB. They should have beat FaZe Red. I mean, they had an opportunity. It does suck because I'd rather see them alive right now. I'd rather see them maybe get like Prophecies seeding to where they would have played Orbit, SB, and then TR, and they'd probably still be in the tournament right now. But winners win. You have to win no matter where you're placed. And I guarantee you that Optic Gaming, as a team, they didn't care. They were like, it kind of sucks, but we're gonna play our game no matter what. We were gonna face Denial at some point. Like, we were gonna face that caliber of a team. So we either have to beat them now or beat them then. For me, I would say Denial actually had a worse placing in the bracket than Optic Gaming did, because Optic Gaming has beaten Denial. They've proven that they can beat that team, and
they played TK.
Yeah, and
that's what I mean. Denial had to walk through some teams that were doing really good in this tournament and that were confident, and now they're about to face TR and FaZe Red. Let's look at just this day, and then we'll move on to the next question. Would either of you say that from today, from this COD Champs tournament, we can even count pool play, are the best 3 teams left right now, in your opinion? Just from COD Champs
FaZe Red,
that
TR,
have played
Denial.
that have played this weekend.
That's so tough. It's just because OG's not in there, but these three teams that are in here are so good.
But OG didn't play like OG.
I know, and that's rough, man. It's just weird putting Team Revenge over OG. Like especially me, because I speak so highly of Team Revenge, but just Phase Red's great, Denial's amazing, but so is Optic. But they're not in there. It's just it's hard to say. It's hard to answer that.
Landon,
I think I'm trying to think of this. I think honestly, the three teams that are left arguably could say that those are the three best teams. Like the three teams that are left are the three best teams that have played this weekend. But I think if OG would have if OG would have played TR, OG would beat TR. Personally, okay. I think that's what would have happened. So I could kind of say the three best teams that played today were there, but I could see OG swapped out for TR in a way, if that makes sense. But arguably, you could say, well, the three best teams that are left have obviously played the best because they're the last three teams. But still, I don't know. I think honestly, Optic didn't play like a top team today. They didn't play like the best team.
Think about this though, Landon. FaZe Red 3-0'd Optic.
Mm-hmm.
TR 3-0'd FaZe Red.
Yeah,
true.
I can see that, but it's like half the time we'll see, well, AR beat Aware, and then Aware beat Denial, but then Denial beat like it's like a triangle. It's like they all hashtag Illuminati. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know.
Of course,
I think the best three teams I think the three teams that are left have done the best this weekend. I will say that Revenge only dropped I think 2 maps in pool play. Optic dropped 1. I think Denial dropped 2 or 3 because I know they lost a series, and so I think so that means they must have dropped 3. They must have went 9-3, and so I think the best 3 teams are left. If you threw Optic into the mix right now, like if it was FaZe Red and let's just say we switched things and it was like TR had to play Optic and FaZe Red played Denial, the FaZe Red Denial would be a ridiculous match, but I think that TR could give them a run for their money. I'll just say that what I've seen from TR this week, they're one of those teams, they're the dark horse teams, just like Prophecy, where you don't know what they're going to do because they don't play like everybody else. They play their game, and you're like, what is Nagafin doing? What is Aqua doing? It's like Nade pulling out his HBR, or in the words of Benson, HBR. That was a surprise, but maybe they should have kept that surprise at home. I mean, who knows? So, all right, let's move on to the next question.
I didn't. Oh, yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to say something about the HBR. I just didn't like the way the Nade was playing with it. He played with it in a Biolab hardpoint, and he was pushing into the hills with it. And it's just when you're going up against the Bao and the ASM1 that close, like you're not really using the HBR the way you're supposed to. And then he could have just used the IMR, And so I don't know. It was weird seeing Nade use that. But if that's what he's comfortable with, maybe there's probably something that's going on behind the scenes that we didn't hear about. Some kind of deal with his team. I'm sure he didn't just make the decision on his own, Clearly something went into it. It's just weird to see.
Yeah, it's something. What did I just do? Whoa. I favorited one thing and it favorited everything in my mentions. That was weird.
Because you favorited your own tweet, probably.
Oh, okay. That was awkward. All right,
I've done that before. I was like, whoa.
The next question comes from Bane Wash. This dude always gets questions.
Yo, I love him. Bane Wash.
Did Hitch's green afro jinx both Optic orgs?
It's all Hitch's fault. Now we got to do a whole weekend
Hitch.
all over again.
Everybody tweet that. # blame Hitch.
Right.
All right, next question comes from @Clef. I don't even know how to say that. Whatever. He says, what do you think finals will pull view-wise? I think he's talking about how terrible is Envy and Optic being out of Sunday going to affect competitive COD? So if you... I'll let Ron start with this because I know you wanted to talk about viewership in general. But you can kind of take this question and run with it.
Can you please repeat it? I just wanted to make sure I had the wording right on it, on the question.
What do you think the finals will pull as far as viewership goes? And how terrible is it that Envy and Optic being out of Sunday going to affect competitive COD and viewership?
It's so rough. It's so sad to see that, when Optic is out that we lose so many people. I think that when we get to the grand finals, we're probably going to be around 100K. We're not gonna. We've been maybe 110K. I just don't see us getting around 140K like we've had earlier when Optic was playing Denial or FaZe and stuff. It's really rough to see that. I think it's just a matter of players just aren't branding themselves as well and not growing their own fan base, reaching out to their own people. But it's also the fact that we're on MLG TV. But that's something we've talked about beforehand. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be around 100K in the grand finals, just because it is a competition. It is for $1 million, so it's definitely going to bring in people. But since Optic's not there, and it's just not going to bring in as much as it could, unless we get the Optic guys to be nice and tweet it out or something, of course. So that's just my opinion.
Landon, you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to take this and tread lightly. Regardless of what people will say, they'll say, well, they kind of screwed themselves over because they had Optic playing against the hardest team. Optic, I've seen people say all day, and it's really ticked me off. They've said, MLG basically sunk themselves because they had Optic going against the hardest team, and if they would have had Optic going against an easy team, they could have had them in the champs and got viewership and ran ads and made a bunch of money. I don't think that they did that on purpose. I could care less what MLG does.
I'm pretty sure MLG didn't speculate. Do it, but go ahead.
Yeah. Or that, I think we'll still get a good viewership tomorrow. But the players that are left, I think this is great for them. I think all the eyes are going to be on them. Optic's not going to be here. This is going to be their chance where it's like all these people are watching us. They're not watching it for Optic. They're not waiting for Optic's next match. All these people are here watching me compete to win. And I think that's going to be great for all these organizations that are left. And I think, while a lot of people are sad, they can at least enjoy competitive Call of Duty and respect who's left and who's won and who's got this far. So I think we'll still get good numbers, not as much as we will, obviously, because some of the main teams aren't here. People obviously just won't watch because they're mad their team's not there. But regardless, I think it's going to be great, and I think that the viewership will benefit from this. I'll say that.
Okay, so I want to make sure we can get at least a couple more of these questions out, but I'll just say that I think it's always going to be it's always going to affect views negatively when Optic Gaming, when the whole Optic organization is out. When you have two teams that pull millions of views on YouTube every day and hundreds of thousands of views, if you count all of them throughout the day on MLG.TV. There was a CSGO event this weekend that's still going on. So even though Envy's out of this tournament, they're still, I think, going to be playing in the grand finals of that tournament. And I think that's part of the thing with is that esports, we share viewers, and so if you're primarily a CSGO, I guarantee you that CSGO tournament carried over whatever we had. I think there was a moment I saw 96,000 on Alpha. I don't know. It maybe have gotten over that, like 105. But I guarantee you CSGO was carrying 120,000, 130,000 on a different streaming platform, which can be detrimental as well, because when the CSGO event ended like an hour ago, you didn't have this big flood of people coming over. And so I think that those things can slowly but surely, hopefully, change. And when there's weekends, when there's not multiple events, I think that's what's killing Halo, in all honesty, is that Halo is always going on when there's a COD tournament or a CSGO tournament, and it doesn't have an opportunity to grow. Because if I'm choosing between what I know and something I don't know, I'm going to watch what I know. I'm going to watch Call of Duty. And so even when CSGO is on, I like watching CSGO tournaments because I'm trying to learn the game. So I don't think it's going to be as bad as people are saying in the chat. Like somebody said, if it's Denial versus FaZe Red, we're only going to pull 50K. Yeah, so somebody saying CSGO event got over 130K today. Oh, and Xbox dashboard, and so we don't even know how many viewers the Xbox dashboard pulled.
So Xbox dashboard isn't included in the viewer count?
I don't think so on it. Yeah, I don't think so on MLG.TV. It's because it's the dashboard. It's not the app. It's not the MLG.TV app. It's the dashboard for Xbox. And so I think that could have been a good 30 or 40, 50,000 viewers that we don't even know, exist. And so I think it's going to be way healthier than the 50K people are talking about in the chat, especially if it is.
I think it's going to be healthier than that too.
FaZe Red versus Denial. I think we'll push 150K. I don't think that'll be a problem, especially with the dashboard. So we'll see. And I think the grand final, depending on what time it's at, the grand finals of the CS:GO tournament, because I think it's in another country, so it really depends time zones, which is first and when it is and all that kind of stuff. So that's just my opinion. I think
Excuse
viewership.
me.
Whoa, bless you. I think viewership in general is just something we're gonna have to continue to work on as a community. Uh, I, we have to figure out a way to create fans of competitive Call of Duty, even though they can be fans of their team. It's just like, I talked about this before. The Grizzlies never get on TV because nobody, but most people can't even name a player on the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
It's like Zach
If you ever
Randolph
hear anyone say the
years ago
Grizzlies.
he got paid more money than Kobe Bryant a year, and people didn't even know who he was. And he had a bigger salary than the most well-known player on the planet right now, and people didn't know who he was because he played for the Grizzlies. And they're just in a small market, and if you're not Optic Gaming, you're in a small market. That's what it's like, and so not a lot of people watch you. So I'm gonna tweet what I can tomorrow and help try to get some views. Because I know that it's going to be exciting Call of Duty. Like these three teams that are left, I think we're going to see really good competitive COD from them. The production of this event has been great, so I hope it drives people to watch it.
Yeah, the production definitely improved from day one. That's for sure.
Yeah, the production has been great.
Can I just add one thing? Can I
yeah,
just
go
add
ahead.
one thing? I think tomorrow is going to be really good for viewership. I think, I don't know how many we'll hit. I think obviously if we had Optic or Envy, or you could say any Optic team, it'd be more. But I think for us to grow, and like a lot of other esports have, basically all of Call of Duty is based on Optic. Like you could argue 85 to 90% of every fan is watching Optic. And I think that this is great because people are getting exposed to new teams. I would say a couple years ago it was Optic and Envy were the two main teams. Now we have Optic Gaming, we have Denial, we have TK, and did I already say Envy? I think I already did. So we have like 3 or 4 main teams that people are really excited about. And I see TK people tweeting out all the time. I've seen a lot of, I've even seen on CODpedia when they've done retweet and fave, for what teams. A lot of these random teams that I don't really know too much about are getting a lot of support. Like they're getting to the point where we're almost beating these known teams. So I think honestly tomorrow is going to be great because instead of watching a team that we're used to seeing, people can be exposed to something new, and maybe they'll find themselves being a fan of a different team, or
for sure,
being excited in something different. So I think overall it's going to be great, to be honest. So
yeah, and yeah, I agree 100%. All right,
yeah. If we're talking,
so
you got to move on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as far as like someone mentioned this earlier to me, and it's sort of a dark way to think about it, but like if Optic doesn't win, like let's say they just come in third, as long as they're like just their organization, as long as they're further along in this event and they don't win, and another team wins, they think that like benefits the scene a little bit more because now Denial's going to get some new fans, or FaZe or TR, whoever it may be, and that just eventually over time, if that were to continue happening, like Optic always made third and then sometimes came in first, like that would essentially be benefiting, like just spreading out the fan base a little bit. That's the way they spun it, and I thought about that. That was just weird. It's just weird to think about it that way, But
Well,
it sort of makes sense.
That's Call of Duty Ghosts.
Exactly.
No, I'm just saying, Call of Duty Ghosts, Optic was always 3, 4, 5. Once they got like 15th or something like that, the worst placing in Merc's life, up to that point. And I think they were not a first place team in Call of Duty Ghosts. Like
right.
Until they got to X Games. Yeah, it's like but until then, they, like you said, they got first every once in a while. But for the most part, they were an average. They were a top team. I won't say they're mediocre. They were top 6 guaranteed almost every tournament.
Yeah.
But they couldn't push what they wanted to push. But here's the thing: they still grew way bigger than. That's what I'm saying is I'm skipping to the tweet that I put. I put the name of the person in the chat.
Slow.
All right, so. Yeah, in my opinion, Landon, your numbers were a little high. It's more like 75 to 76% of Call of Duty fans, Call of Duty esports fans, are Optic fans, and that's where they came from. There are other fans, like there's big Censor's huge right now on YouTube. A lot of people are watching his videos, and they're FaZe fans finding Censor, then they're finding competitive COD. They're coming into the scene. So there's a percentage. It's very small. It's like 20 something that are coming from other people. But I would say that we can't shortchange where our bread is coming from. You know, I don't. You know, Hex says, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you." And that's what he says about Activision is calm down, blaming Activision for everything. They're the hand that feeds us. You know, they're the hand that's giving us these $1 million tournaments, regardless of if we hate the way they seed things, we hate that they added drift, whatever. The reality is that they're the hand that feeds us. So let's try to deal with them constructively so that we can actually get what we want in the long run. But for now, we've got to, there's some things we're just going to have to settle for. And I think it's the same with Optic. They're the hand that feeds competitive Call of Duty. They, you know, Ron, you wouldn't be able to stream and have viewers and grow as a possible career on MLG.TV if Nadeshot, Crim6, and all those players in Hex came over to MLG and signed a contract saying we're going to exclusively stream here. Because that's where everybody is now. So now that gives you a better opportunity to make more money streaming.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, we can't bite the hand that feeds us. We just got to be, we have to be wise and do what we can for the time being. Be comfortable with Optic being the biggest. Be comfortable with them being the best. Now, when Nadeshot retires, quits, whatever he does, it is going to impact viewership. And that's when people are we're going to need Claysters to exist. You know, we're going to need players like that to be big so that there's people that our fans can like and that they can, because they like people and they follow people. And that's something that Nade and Scum bring to the game. All right, last question. And I just saw that Hitch tweeted that he's cutting his fro because it was a curse.
At least he understands.
Yeah. Last question comes from @_savage and with an X. And he says, what team is going to have roster changes? And do you think Optic Gaming will be one of those? I had to ask this question. I got like 17,452 people asking me, so I had to.
It's a good number.
I had to.
A good number.
All right, so Landon, we're going to start with you.
Oh, man. Much like Kingdom, you have roster mania in your name, and you think people, you know, this would be something different besides that. No. You know, to be honest, I think a lot of these teams aren't happy with their placings and whatnot. You know, TK finishing 8th. To go and answer Optic Gaming's question, honestly, I do not see them making a roster change. You win the last 4 events in a row, and you know you place 7th at champs. Well, I understand that's not what you want to do. That's a dominant team. Like, that's a team that could have won champs. Obviously, they were the team coming into this game that looked the most strongest, or you know, the strongest coming in, I guess you'd say. And to answer everyone's questions about Crim6, did he change his bio? No, that was Crim6 bio before. That was Scum's bio from before. So there's no intel coming out that we know of yet. Honestly, Optic should not make a roster change, regardless of the outcome of this tournament. They are still, to me, no doubt the strongest team in the entire game right now. I think Denial's the second, FaZe Red possibly in third. You could argue whoever wins this game and whatnot. Roster changes for sure. To me, I definitely see Envy making a change. I think Envy has struggled a lot. You know, regarding their league situation, they have not done well at all. Who's on what team? I don't know. I don't really know what's going to go on there. I think definitely Envy will make a change. I'm trying to look at some other teams as well. Maybe, well, FaZe Black's team is going to have to diminish because, well, no, there's 2 players. Who's left? Censor's left. And, wait.
FaZe Black is basically going to have to break up.
Yeah, because
their players are on different teams in the league.
Yeah. So obviously they'll make, you know, changes and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
they'll get into the leagues now.
I'm trying to think what other teams there are that I can see. I'm lost right now. I'm looking. But to me, the main team right now is Envy for sure. I 100% see them making a change.
Ron?
So.
I definitely see Envy. The thing is, we got to remember that Season 2 roster lock, so there's going to be trades. It's going to have to be trades. I definitely got to say that Envy is going to make a change. I don't see OG making a change. I think it's just one bad event. I think Nade and Scump are going to stick together no matter what. I honestly see Nate staying on OG till he retires.
Oh yeah,
I don't see him leaving at all.
He's the captain, and he's not going to ever drop himself. So yeah.
Yeah, and then why would Scump and Krim
You're
leave
out.
OG? Like they had one bad tournament. I just don't. I mean, unfortunately, it just had to be COD champs, right? I think they're just down, and I think they're going to move on from it and improve. I feel like TK is going to make a team change at some point because it's just kind of they just can't seem. I mean, they also had a really bad. Everybody was saying they had probably the toughest group out of everybody, and they just only placed 8th. I could see TK making a change possibly. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Do you think you'd see TK making a change? They've had the same squad for such a long time, like same group of players, anyways.
What about Owen?
Ooh.
Yeah, I do. I love Owen. I love the players on that team. I love Killa and all those players. I think they need one. You know what I mean? I think that them finishing how they have isn't good. And going back to TK, I definitely think TK. I think they're honestly in Optic Gaming's position last year. You know, they're considered a top team, but they're getting fifth through 6th placings, occasionally getting 4th. They placed 8 at champs. They're a team that can win, but I think they need to make a roster change as well. So.
I see Killa and Mir sticking together no matter what, though. The bond is just too strong between them. I actually got a chance to hang out with them a lot during regionals too, and like they just understand. Like even Mir was just like, look, I think I underperformed this event, but Killa keeps telling me that I played great, and I keep trying to tell him he was the best on our team. And it was like Killa had the top S&D KD throughout the entire event. And like Mir was just like, look, like I'm the weakest link. Like he's telling his team that, and he knows that he could have performed better, but they're just all like it's okay, like it's fine. Like we're gonna improve. We're gonna take this and move on from it. So I see Killa and Mir at least sticking together on the squad. I see TP staying as well. I think TP is the kind of guy to really want to work on things instead of just jumping ship. I don't know how Karma feels though. I don't know.
So the roster locks for season 2 on at the end of April, like on the 28th, 29th. So I'm sure they did that intentionally. They gave them an entire month to trade whoever they want, do whatever they want. I think Envy's going to make a change. I think Owen's going to make a change. Unless I don't know what the hell they're doing in the league. I guess that would be. I'd have to see that. But I just know we're talking about a lot of money that was missed. We're talking about a lot of money that was lost, and a team that, regardless of their past struggles, was expected because they've all won this before, and losing it after. Can you think about this? Killa didn't even make champs last year, and then this year he made champs only to go out before he could make any money. That's frustrating.
Yeah,
and
I
you
can't
take
imagine
that kind of stuff personal. So
I can't imagine him in Karma and Killa's position, and even Miracles in Teep, obviously, like seeing their teammates from past and them going out. What I think Optic Nation went 13th through 16th place, or something like that. Regardless, and just seeing like your old teammates go past you, and like getting closer to their 2nd championship. I just can't imagine how, frustration.
Aches and Parasite are the only 2 people left in the tournament that have won COD champs before, and really quick. The only person left that the only people left were Aches and Parasite that were in the winners bracket, and then they lost, and then it was like, okay, well, great. Everybody's in the losers bracket. And I think that Miracles tweeted, he said, time to grind YouTube. It may be too late. Like it may be too late to try to use the Optic brand now that you lost champs, and gonna try to make a name for yourself when you get back. It may be too late. I think Miracle should have. He made one video and it was good. Like I liked it on his channel like 2 years ago. I think he should grind content. I think Killa should grind content. If they're gonna stay on Optic, I think it should almost be a requirement.
I feel like that's such a missed opportunity that bothers me so much. That on Optic we only really see, I guess, Krim. Sort of, just not as consistent as he used to be when he was on AG, grinding out content. Formal just now picking it up, so he took advantage of the opportunity. Nade and Scump always on it. But in ON, who on ON is really putting their effort into it?
The only one is is, well, TP has put some effort, but he's preparing for champs. He slowed down,
Yeah.
and then Karma just makes whatever he wants. He doesn't really make optic
Makes
content. He just
montages.
makes,
Like,
Yeah, his Goat
whatever,
Simulator thing was cool when he got out of
whatever
the
he.
league.
Oh, I
I,
love Goat
I
Simulator.
personally love Teep's content. I think if he grinds it
Yeah.
out and does his stuff, he's legitimately one of my favorite YouTubers. And I don't normally say that because I learned so much from just watching his stuff.
Well, he's the potential Rambo replacement. Like his content is very similar. If you watch Rambo's content during Black Ops 2, when he did TLRs and things like that, and he streamed and he would break down maps and like that's Rambo. And like when Merc did Coach Merc, and he really taught. I mean, that type of content that really elevates your game. That's what TP has the opportunity to do. And I think when he was doing the hardpoint breakdowns of the different maps on this game, they were really good. But I agree with you, Ron. You know, there's not enough coming out, in my opinion, of the optic camp. But I think that if I'm looking at these other teams, FaZe Black isn't really going to exist. I think that what we're going to see is, because SB, they didn't land in the money, right? Because they went out round 2 of losers.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think those players are going to try to get in the league. I think, of course, the FaZe Black players that aren't on a team are going to try to get in the league. And I think ON may have some open spots in the future, but we'll see, because there's a $250,000 tournament at the end of this year. There's X Games that they can play to win, and as long as you're top 8 in the league, you get to go to X Games. And so if you think you're going to do good in the league, then good. But Envy is doing bad in the league. They did bad at COD Champs. They need to make a change.
Yeah.
They don't have a choice. I think they're just at that point where they really don't have a choice but to make a change, to do something different. Hastro's going to get him in a call and say, "What are we doing, guys?" And it's just going to happen. FaZe Red could even make a change. It may make no sense, but we'll see how things go. I mean, roster changes don't make sense. Like, that's the funny thing about it. Is there's always a roster change that is mind-boggling. Like, wait, you dropped Clayster? Huh?
Yeah.
What happened?
How does that
you
work?
dropped Clayster from Envy, and then now you have a team that, you know, is having a hard time figuring it out. Like,
there's always one bizarre change that starts it all.
Winning. You know, it's there's anyway. All right, so I got to get out of here. Thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Landon. Make sure you guys, there's a deal that we have going on. Hopefully Goalie has a graphic to show you. But this weekend only, you can get free shipping anywhere in the US of A. I'm sorry, EU. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. You can get free shipping anywhere in the US on our hoodie or our blue shirt, and somebody will link them in the chat. Goalie or someone else will link them in the chat. Make sure you guys get your hands on them while they're hot.
Buy one, guys. They're cool.
Yeah, and they're only going to be around for like 2 more weeks. So you're going to be mad that you didn't get one. Everybody tweets at me afterwards and is like, are they still? No. So if you got paid Friday, like a few days ago, yesterday, get your shirts, get your hoodies.
Skip a couple meals, grab a STiKS shirt. It's a great investment. You can eat another day, you know?
I agree. 100%.
It's fine.
Who cares about nutrition? Oh, well.
Yes. Don't feed your kids. All right.
All right.
We're gonna close out the show. I'm gonna let you guys say whatever you want to whoever you want about whatever you want for 30 seconds or less. And I'm gonna start with Landon. We're gonna go to Fox, and then I will close the show out.
Oh crap! I'm not a mod. I can't post a link.
Oh yeah.
You said you were starting with Landon?
Yeah, it's your dude, it's your bro, it's your pal.
Oh,
it's your friend.
It's your dude, it's your bro, it's your pal, it's your ally from the internet, guys. Thank you so much for coming out to the show tonight. I think we almost hit like 400 viewers, which is insane for this late after a show.
The stream was going on.
That's true. That is true. So like I said, thank you guys so much for coming out. Kingdom, thank you for having me on. I absolutely love everyone in the STiKS fam. Thank you, Goalie, for producing. Nice job as always. Sir, I know you've had a long and hard day. Shout out to the sponsors I don't have yet. We'll be talking very shortly. And and yeah, thank you guys just so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. I can't wait for tomorrow. And I love you guys. Thank you to all my followers and supporters. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oops.
I guess I'll go next. Thank you to all of my followers on Twitter that tuned in today. I'm sorry I haven't been able to stream recently. I've been watching the event, having a lot of fun because I knew I needed to do this recap show for the STiKS, and I enjoy my time here. Thank you, Kingdom, for having me on again. Matt, thanks for producing it, of course. And Landon, love working with you, man. If you guys want to support me and follow me at all, my Twitter is on screen at RondezFox. I'm a live streamer, a YouTuber, a caster. You'll see me in the future. Thank you all for stopping by. Make sure to tune into the STiKS all the time. They work really hard on this. So I hope you appreciate their work just as much as I do.
All right, this is your boy Kingdom Soldier, Proputine. I apologize to the Canadians as well that order STiKS gear and can't get the free shipping.
Oh, they'll be all right.
Sorry, Proputine.
Free.
But you guys have free healthcare, so deal with it.
It can't all go in your favor. Gosh,
and you don't shoot each other. Like, come on. I mean, you guys are.
I mean, do you need this shirt at this point, really?
All right.
Don't
anyway,
get your teeth fixed for free.
Oh my god!
Make sure you guys use code Kingdom for 10% off your G Fuel. Make sure you use code STiKS for 5% off your Scout Gaming. And I will say that even when you lose, that doesn't mean you're a loser. That just means that you gotta pick your bootstraps up and keep walking, and stay focused on the positive. This is Scump tweeted out, "I'm still sad" or whatever, like an hour ago when we started the show, and it really sucks, because I can't. All of us have been in that position where we really want something and we don't get it, or we don't achieve it, or a girl that we really liked and she basically told us to our faces that she didn't like us or something, or she starts going out with your friend. We've all had those moments in life where we're just stupidly sad. Like, you can feel it in the pit of your stomach. And that's how a lot of these players are feeling like right now. The envy, they're sitting in their rooms tonight, can't sleep because they're sick. They're just sick to their stomachs that they didn't succeed at this tournament. Optic Gaming, Optic Nation, a whole bunch of players that we watch smile all the time. And so sometimes it's good for us to be nice on Twitter, and be careful with what you tweet, because people's feelings are already hurt, and so just have a good night, focus on the positive, and watch some competitive Call of Duty tomorrow. If your team isn't in it, watch some competitive Call of Duty tomorrow. Get to know some new players. Get to know Nagafin. Get to know Aqua. Get to know Attach. It's going to be a great day of Call of Duty, and I'm looking forward to it. This is your boy Kingdom Soldier, and Landon, and Fox, and we'll see you guys next time on STiKS. Peace.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.